is up? Icecolds Corner. I'm in the building, and we are talking about one of the great events in the history of America, in the world. The NCAA Tournament is upon us. I'm gonna dive right into it. I got so many things I want to say about this thing. I might have to cut it into two parts. I mean, the odd thing about this tournament is, as much as there's not any, I don't think in this draft class, in these kids coming out of college, there's any future Hall of Famers coming out of this, but there's a lot of must-see TV in this thing, man. There's a lot of it, man, when you talk about the Kemba Walkers, Jimmer Fredette's, Ben Hansbrough. I want to see what Duke's going to be able to do. I want to see what Kansas is going to do. Kentucky, St. John's. You got a lot of things that you just got to see in this tournament. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a really exciting tournament, and it's odd considering the fact that it's not, the talent level maybe isn't what we've seen in past tournaments, in past college basketball seasons. But this is going to be a good one. I'm excited. Let me start off, first of all, talking about some of the questionable decisions. Obviously, you got to talk about UAB and Virginia Commonwealth getting in there over the likes of Colorado and St. Mary's. I think St. Mary's is a little bit better of a choice than Virginia Tech. Colorado beat Kansas State 3 times during the season, and they beat Texas and Missouri this year, and they couldn't even get in the tournament over UAB or VCU. We got Virginia Tech beating Duke when they were #1. Everybody thought that was going to clinch them getting in. Obviously not. Another team that's in there is a little questionable. We got USC. They had 14 losses this year. 14! Damn. I mean, that gets you in the tournament nowadays. 14 losses. That's a lot of losses. You can also make the case for Harvard. That's another team who had a great regular season, won a share of the Ivy League regular season conference championship, and lost on a buzzer beater to Princeton in a 1-game playoff. You can make the case for them. And also, lastly, with VCU, they had 11 losses, and they lost to Georgia State this year. I mean, that's getting you in the tournament. Yeah. So on and so forth. I mean, we're talking about the 66, 67, and 68 teams in the tournament. So I do understand the frustrations of those at Colorado, St. Mary's, and Virginia Tech. But look, none of you guys are winning the tournament anyway. So we shouldn't spend that much time on it. So let me get into the regions. We're going to start in the East region. What I'm going to do on all these regions, I'm going to tell you who the #1 seed is. I'm going to give you some teams to watch. I'm going to give you some players to watch. And then I'm going to tell you who I got coming out of it. So in the East, the #1 seed is the Ohio State Buckeyes. Can't stand them mofos. But the Ohio State Buckeyes, led by Sullinger, Diebler, Lighty, who's been in college since I was about 3 years old, and they got Buford doing the thing. It's a very legit #1 seed, very good #1 seed in Ohio State Buckeyes. Some teams to watch in there. Look out for North Carolina. They're the 2 seed in this region. Look out for Washington. Washington and North Carolina are slated to possibly meet in the 2nd round. And that's going to be a dangerous matchup for North Carolina. I think Washington, who underachieved in the regular season, got a little bit of the swagger back in the Pac-10 tournament. Obviously, you saw Isaiah Thomas hit the buzzer beater. But yeah, that's going to be a dangerous matchup. And also look out for Kentucky. And Kentucky, man, they are really good. They're really good, man. With Brandon Knight, Terrence Jones, they got Lamb. They're good. Watch out for those guys. Some of the players to watch, Harrison Barnes, who's been absolutely phenomenal in the second half of the college basketball season after coming in with such high expectations to North Carolina. He has been lights out ever since they hit conference play. The aforementioned Isaiah Thomas, who I had this conversation with other people in there talking about Ben Hansbrough, Jimmer Fredette, Kemba Walker. Isaiah Thomas is that nice. Alright, Isaiah Thomas is that nice, and I'll slap myself in the face for forgetting about mentioning him earlier because some of the things possibly didn't live up to at the beginning of this college basketball season. But Isaiah Thomas is serious, man. He is really serious. Terrence Jones and Brandon Knight from Kentucky. Those are some other guys in this region that you want to look out for who could have some big, big marches. As far as coming out of the East, looking at my bracket right now, I got Kentucky beating Ohio State in the Sweet 16. And I got Kentucky and North Carolina playing each other in the Elite Eight. And I got Kentucky making it to the Final Four. Oh, baby. Can you believe that? Kentucky going to the Final Four with this team? Maybe they're very, very good. Maybe the least talented team that John Calipari's had in a long time, which is still one of the great teams in the country. So that goes to show you how good he's recruiting out there. So I got Kentucky coming out of the East. You talk about the West, the number one seed is Duke Blue Devils, the defending national champions. Nolan Smith, Kyle Singular. They got Curry doing his thing. The Plumlee brothers putting in work. Very, very solid number one seed. I like Duke more than most, I think. I think they're very legit to go back-to-back this year. They're a very live defending champion. So them being a number one seed, beating the hell out of UNC in the ACC tournament, no surprise to me whatsoever. Teams to watch in this region, which is loaded. You got Arizona, you got Texas, UConn, and the number 2 seed, San Diego State. Now, San Diego State has been lights out this year, aside from losing to BYU twice. They've smacked everybody around. So that is no fluke in my eyes. I think they're not the most skilled team. They don't have the best shooters. They got a bunch of great athletes. They defend really well. San Diego State has all the opportunity in the world to make a Final Four run, if you ask me. Players to watch: Derek Williams at Arizona, the Pac-10 Player of the Year. He was lights out this year. I mean, he killed it. He killed it this year, man. Derek Williams is phenomenal. Jordan Hamilton out of Texas, who can just put the ball in the basket like nobody else in the college game right now. He can give you 30 any night. And also the main man, the darling of all college basketball in the last week and a half, Kemba Walker, one of the great guards in the history of the Big East. I said it, in the history of the Big East. I didn't stutter. He had a phenomenal season. I think he had some highs and lows. It was a roller coaster ride with him as far as what he did throughout the season. But in the Big East tournament, 5 games in 5 days, and putting on a performance that he did, one of the great performances I've ever seen in the history of college basketball for that weekend. You gotta believe that with that guy in the fold, UConn can make a run. It's as simple as that. They've got a transcendent player in Kemba Walker, so they definitely can make a run all the way. Who I actually have coming out of the West, I'm going with the Duke Blue Devils. I got them playing San Diego State in the Elite Eight. I got San Diego State beat UConn actually in the Sweet 16 to get to that Elite Eight. So I got the Duke Blue Devils returning back to the Final Four for the second time in as many seasons. Just on that particular side, in the East, I got Kentucky going to the Final Four. In the West, I got Duke going to the Final Four. They will meet up in the national semifinals. That's part 1 of my NCAA tournament breakdown. You guys take note of everything I'm saying, because I know what the hell I'm talking about. Remember that. I know what I'm talking about. So part 2 with the other side. Holla.